then you've gotten to the point where you're ready to prepare for the exam in a different way. And there are things that you will learn about the exam, you will learn about yourself, you will learn about the accounting industry, but a lot of that stuff is not in the course materials. And so when I created my CPA exam coaching programs, it was to meet candidates where they are as far as understanding where you're strong, where you need development and deeper studying, and being able to study and still live your life. And for those of you that know me, I'm Nikki. I'm Nikki Winston, CPA exam coach, accounting executive, host of Career Convos, career development podcast. And I took the CPA exam 13 times. When I think back to the experience, which will never leave me, I recognize that whether I passed the exam or whether I failed the exam, I learned something new, something about myself and my resilience, something about the process and what it's like to be in this profession. And even something about the exam, the wordplay, how they throw questions at you, things like that. And so for me, it was important to create this program and focus this part of the program on FAR, financial accounting and reporting, because FAR gives candidates heartburn before they've even sat for the exam. Statistically, it's habitually been one of the lowest pass rates um, of all the sections of the exam. This is before and after CPA evolution. And so just to have a situation where um, you take this exam, you go through the process of taking this exam, and then you have people who are excited about the process and they're ready to become a CPA. You have other people who are stressed out about the CPA exam before they even get an MTS. And so um, being able to talk candidates through that, you should not start something that you are so adamant at becoming and passionate about from a standpoint of being stressed about it, of being fearful of it, of having anxiety about it. And so it's super important for candidates to understand, yes, get your course materials, invest in a program that works for you, but you also need to factor in those non-technical parts of the CPA exam journey and also understand how you're preparing for the CPA exam, but you're also deep in career development. A lot of what you see on the exam, you're going to have to do in real life. A lot of things that you learn, the calculations that you're doing, the ratios that you're looking at, the memos that you're reading, the document reviews. This is a part of your actual career. And so we have to take away the whole, I'm studying for this exam and I'm going to be stressed out until I pass all four sections, and get excited about, I'm elevating my career by pursuing my CPA credential first and foremost, but I have an opportunity to go deep into some areas of the accounting profession that I want to focus on. I have an opportunity to learn about things that I may not have known existed. And so embracing the CPA exam journey from that perspective, and not as, oh my God, how am I going to pass this exam? How am I going to pay for this? What do I need to do? What is an NTS? How do I tell my boss that I'm studying? Should I get a job while I'm studying? Which discipline should I take? And it doesn't matter what the conversation is like. Almost every single CPA exam conversation comes back to the FAR exam. So the FAR exam has the most content. It's a core section, so you have to pass it. And it's the foundation of accounting. It's the foundation of accounting. You learn about the financial statements, the balance sheet, or the statement of financial position. You learn about the P&L. You learn about OCI, comprehensive income and other comprehensive income, the statement of cash flows, statement of owner's equity, what the financial statement accounts are, what they do, how a statement and a financial account on the P&L plays with a financial statement account on the balance sheet. So understanding the relationships between the accounts. And one thing that we have to keep in mind as accountants is that way back when we used to be considered number crunchers, but we are storytellers. And so we're telling the financial story of a business. And in order to do that, you have to understand the numbers that you're looking at, the relationships between those numbers, and what they mean. And we have to be accurate and we have to be factual in what we do. And we have to do our research and our due diligence because we're giving management, executives, owners, customers, regulators, employees, the who, what, where, when, why, and how of what happened in the business, how much money you made, how much money you didn't make, where did the money go, how much were your margins, what's driving the margins. If you think about managerial accounting and the conversations that go on inside the business before we even go external, but everyday questions like, okay, this is our margin. The margin looks significantly different from last month. Is our cost of goods sold right? Have we recognized revenue in the proper periods? And so there's so many factors that can influence numbers. If you've ever heard about a company doing a restatement, if you've ever heard about or worked in an accounting department where you have numbers that you present and then you go back and do some more research and realize, oh, we over accrued on a certain expense that impacted the cost of sales, that impacted the margin. So you have to go back and do that research and tell the whole story over again. So with us being advisors to the decision makers, with everybody in the company relying on our expertise, I've heard people over the course of my career have call me or walk into my office and say, the first thing they say is, I'm not an accountant, but I need to understand how much money we're spending in supply chain. I'm not an accountant, but I want to put a budget together for next year about things that we're going to be doing. So everybody across the company relies on the accounting team to give them facts, to give them information that has been researched, that has been double checked, where we've reran the numbers ourselves. And so it's very much a partnership type of position. It's a people relying on our professional judgment and our expertise to make recommendations and decisions. And so I say all of that to say, to understand FAR means that you are laying the foundation to be able to understand the other sections of the CPA exam, right? And not only that, this is a huge opportunity to learn, not only out of the course materials, but if you just come up from your course materials for a second and take a look at all the things that are happening around you in business, in your companies, in your homes, so many different things are impacted by business decisions that people have made, directions that companies have chosen to go in. We just recently dealt with the whole, we can't watch channels we want to watch because the companies who distribute these channels are fighting. And so there's an accounting impact to that. And there's probably somebody's accountant who said, no, this doesn't work well for us from a revenue perspective or long term, or somebody did their diligence on both sides that created that friction and that debate that impacted people down to a level of their living rooms. So I want to give that backstory because by the time people reach out to me and we start talking about the CPA exam, before we even talk about technical stuff, before we start putting study plans together, we have to unwind some stuff and unpack some stuff and unlearn some stuff about I'm taking this exam, but I don't even know if I can do this. Nikki, do you even think I can do this? Is a common question I get when people want to book coaching sessions with me and they want to get ready for the exam my way. Um, so things like that. And then they'll talk about, well, I want to study, but I don't know if I can take time off work. And I want to get this done in X number of months because I'm trying to do other things. Or I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to study. And I have kids, and I have this, and I have this, and I have this, and I have this. And so we got to get out of that mindset of putting ourselves at a disadvantage just because of what we're allowing to penetrate our mindsets, right? And the things that you think become the things that you do. And so if you're starting off your CPA exam journey feeling like, can I even do this? Or I'm stressed out, or I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. It's okay. It's new, it's uncharted water, it's a challenge. I know you have heard and seen what other candidates have shared about their experiences, but if you just change your mind to not letting the CPA exam stress you out. Let me get excited about what I'm going to be doing. I'm excited to learn about consolidations. I'm excited to learn about lease accounting and revenue recognition. And these are things that I can learn and take back to my company. So we have to change our minds and how we think about it first and foremost. And I want you to understand that as you get ready to enter the FAR exam intensive and learn financial accounting and reporting the way that I think that it needs to be taught. So, what you'll find when you get started is first and foremost an onboarding message that tells you where you are, what you're doing, how to leverage the space, how to take full advantage of the space, and how you're going to be able to move through content. So you will have a space to book your coaching sessions with me. You will have a section for some of the frequently tested exam topics, some of the ones I mentioned, revenue recognition, lease accounting, consolidations, things like that. Um, Everybody's going to take a diagnostic because I want to know where you are as far as the topics that you're learning, what are the areas that you're struggling with, and how do we put your plan together based on the areas that you need to focus on. We're going to talk about time management and pacing yourself along the way. You don't have to cram in 8 hours a day or trying to get studying done when it's not going to be fruitful for you. So how to pace your studying, when and where to study, how to study. And of course, the reminder that you have access to this space until you pass your FAR exam. There's a ton of things that you will see and learn in the FAR exam intensive that you can apply to other sections of the CPA exam. And then you have a space, you have a private space. It's me, it's other accounting professionals that I've invited into the space. It's other CPA candidates and accounting students who are on the same journey as you. And sometimes you need to vent. Sometimes you need to drop a screenshot of a question that you can't seem to get the right answer to. Sometimes you have general questions about what am I going to do after I pass this exam? But you have an opportunity to connect and start building relationships and networks with people who understand the journey that you are on. And so I want to say welcome to each and every one of you. I appreciate you trusting me and my lived in experiences to get you through this journey. I'll also just share some real life examples with y'all about financial accounting and what that could look like. So over the course of my career, I've had a ton of FAR scenarios that were on my desk that I had to do, that I had to undo, that I had to make a decision on, that I had to share recommendations. And so I want to make sure that, as I said earlier, that we take time to come out of our books, come out of our video lectures and all of the practice questions and really talk about what FAR looks like in real life. I found FAR to be the easiest section of the CPA exam for me. And that was because I had seen a lot of it in practice. And so bond accounting was a no-brainer for me. If I would always say, if I get a bond simulation on my exam, I am going to kill it. And of course, you always try to think in your mind that my exam is going to be comprised of all the topics that I know, but it never happens that way. So definitely going to talk about some accounting in real life. We're going to make sure you're ready on exam day. And, I'm excited for y'all to be here because I'm excited to have created this. It was created out of love, out of lived in experiences, out of the need to meet candidates where they are. And just as the CPA exam has evolved, the way that we prepare for it also needs to evolve. So click the link in the welcome email that you received, and you will have access to all things FAR with me. Reach out to me if you have any questions. My contact info, everything is inside of the portal. I'm looking forward to y'all getting started. You will pass the FAR exam, and I am excited to watch your journey. So let's get started. Happy studying, and I will see y'all inside.